Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Mindful Convo. So for today the topic is economic value added. So it's a EVA, which is a very common topic which is asked in APM exam. So today we'll discuss about that what is actually EVA and how to calculate it and how to apply it while solving the ACCA APM exam questions. So EVA is a basically measure whether company is maximizing the shareholders wealth or not. So in APM exams you will see that to measure a company's performance we generally calculate profit to assess whether company is doing well or not. So the objective of company is to maximize the shareholders wealth. So there could be various parameters to measure this objective. So EVA will be the perfect measure. So EVA is a measure of a company's financial performance based on a residual wealth calculated by deducting its cost of capital from its operating profit. So basically what I have said right now, I have just explained the formula which is written here, that EVA is equal to net operating profit after taxes. So you will be given a operating profit, and from that you have to adjust some expenses and some other incomes, and after that you will see that you will reach to net operating profit, but these profits will be before tax and you have to make some tax adjustments, and from that you have to deduct the invested capital, or you can say the capital employed, and you have to multiply it by the weighted average cost of capital. So basically you are trying to see that what's the rate of return on the invested capital. So whatever return you have earned or you have lost, you will be getting the EVA. So after that I will like to elaborate that what is the formula for EVA. Then later on we'll go on some other parts related to EVA, like what if the EVA is negative, what if the EVA is positive, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of EVA. So here you will see in the formula that there are controllable operating profits given. So in the question you will be given with the operating profits which are of will be controllable. So here what's the difference between controllable and uncontrollable? So if we'll talk from the perspective of a division, so there are some expenses which could be controlled in the control of a division, but they are bifurcated into two parts, like the head office and division. So some expenses are under the control of division and some are not, because they can be controllable only at the head office level. So you have to understand the question and you have to see that what are the expenses which are controllable at the divisional level, because in APM we will be calculating EVA for the divisional perspective. We will be trying to judge the divisional performance. So here we should not take those expenses which can't be controlled by the division or which are not related to division. If they are just related to head office, they don't have anything linked with division, then you have to eliminate those things. So basically the controllable word is this is the significance which I'm telling you behind the controllable word written here, and else you can just take up the operating profit if there is no other information in the question. Then what you have to do, you have to think here from the perspective of economy, because EVA is related to economic profit. So here you will see that in the accounts you will see everything will be from the accounting perspective, but here we have to calculate it with the economic perspective. So obviously while calculating profit, the depreciation would have been deducted from there. So we will be adding back the depreciation and we will be deducting the economic depreciation so that we will get the correct economic profits. Then we will try to add the provisions which have increased. So increase in provisions will be here, or any non-cash expenses if you have deducted, so we will be adding them as well, because in this we will only take those expenses which we have actually incurred. We are not going to take anything on a non-accrual basis. Okay, then here you will adding the advertising cost, or research and expenditure, development expenditure, employee cost. In employee cost, you can take the training cost, training provided to employee cost. So we'll be adding all this because it has no significance while calculating EVA. Then other operating expenses if they are, so you can add them. Now moving on further, we will deduct economic depreciation. I have told you earlier also, and here we have decreased in provisions. So earlier we added when we are increasing the provisions, now here we will decrease. Then amortization of R&D expenditure we will be deducting because we have already added the R&D expenditure, but we will be deducting only the amortized part, the deferred part. We won't be taking all the expenses. Then depreciation of operating lease assets, so we will be deducting it, or all the lease assets depreciation. Then taxes, I have told you, you will be deducting taxes, and then we'll reach to NOPAT, non-operating profit after tax. So this is the main calculation. So there is a step-by-step marking in APM exam. So if you have calculated NOPAT at least, you will be getting a good score. So the main part was NOPAT. Now in the question you will be given with the invested capital or the capital employed as well. So you have to just put up the value of capital employed, and you have to apply the weighted average cost of capital. Be careful about this rate. You don't have to apply any cost of equity rate or anything. So you have to apply only weighted average cost of capital. So generally in questions you will be given with that rate. So now moving on further, we will try to understand that if the company's EVA is negative, so what does it mean? That NOPAT is lower than what we are getting in return. So in that case, the company is not generating value from the funds invested into the business. And if positive EVA is there, then we are producing value from the funds invested in it. So at last you have to conclude this after whatever the value of EVA you are getting, because you have to conclude your answer. You have to tell the examiner that what are you trying to reach, what conclusion you are trying to reach after calculating EVA. Just merely calculating EVA will not suffice your answer. Okay, now what will be the advantages and disadvantages of EVA? And before moving to that, I want to discuss about the rate of return. So the rate of return which is used here, it is a weighted average cost of capital. So in case if it is not given you, then you can use the rate of return by calculating the whatever the current value of investment and deducting the initial value of investment. So divided by initial value into 100. So it's a very common formula for calculating a rate of return, that whatever the current value of investment, you have to deduct the initial value and you have to divide that by initial value. So you can also calculate your ROR by that way. So basically ROR is the net gain or loss of an investment over a specified time period, which is expressed as the percentage of the investment's initial cost. Okay, so you will be taking the initial cost in the denominator and current value minus initial value in the numerator. So this was all about ROR. Although the questions in the exam you will be getting what the rate you have to apply, but just in case if you don't get it, then I'm telling you that what's the significance of ROR. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages? So basically the disadvantages will be that profit is always ignored here. Like they will be always using economic profit, accounting profit will be ignored. And also in this example, in this formula, you will see that they have taken weighted average cost of capital, but companies usually work with both equity and debt. So in financial statement, the calculation of profit does take into account the cost of debt finance but ignores the cost of equity finance, because here we are taking weighted average cost of capital. So this particular EVA formula does not consider equity, cost of equity. So there are chances of manipulation in figures resulting in wrong EVA. And also, EVA calculation relies heavily on the amount of invested capital and is best used for asset rich companies. So if you don't have the tangible assets in your balance sheet, you won't be able to calculate a good EVA, because or only if you are having intangible assets, then your capital employed won't be calculated in a good way. There will be even no point of calculating capital employed, and if capital employed could not be calculated, EVA cannot be calculated. So because capital employed is basically, what is capital employed? Here you are adding all your equity, long term liabilities and deducting the intangible assets, or other formula could be you are adding all your total assets and deducting your current liabilities from that. So you need a sufficient amount of assets in your balance sheet. So if you don't have those assets, EVA is not a good measure for you. So this was all about EVA. I hope you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So goodbye. Thank you.